This is a clinically pressed case study. These are something we're going to try and roll out from time to time, really just trying to highlight things that we've tried personally that we've maybe found some success with. Again, these are a case study, so not super high on the level of academic rigor, if you will. Sample size is small, usually one, but it's stuff we picked up, stuff we tried on our own, and how that potentially has benefited us, and maybe it's something that you can find relatable and worth digging into to see if it is effective for you. As most disclaimers go, this is not medical advice. We always want you to talk to your doctor beforehand to see if this is something that you should worth doing, or make sure that you are trying to do it extremely safely, understanding that you are taking all the risk in doing that. That being said, the first one we're going to talk about is breathing, sleep, and how that can really impact you. This is something for me. I've been a snorer for a really long period of time. I'm a relatively big human being. I'm 6'3", about 275 pounds. 20, probably mid to upper 20s body fat, so a little higher than I'd like it to be, but not too bad for me, but it's something I'm always working on. But carry quite a bit of muscle, and really had always snored, and it gets significantly worse anytime I have any alcohol to drink. My wife will be the first one to tell you that it can be really bad, and I have spent some nights on the couch due to it. But this all got started reading the book Just Breathe by, I believe, James Nestor. It was a very fascinating book, just talking about the power of breathing, and that topic in general has become much more explored in the world. Wim Hof is a big one with his Wim Hof breathing method and his propensity for the cold. But it's just kind of caught on as being a much bigger focus, and rightfully so, because it can have significant impacts on how your body behaves and reacts and just your overall health. So that would be one that we'll link up in the show notes, along with a couple of the other ones that it's worth checking out because it can really provide some interesting thought. But one of the things that he did in the book was a self-experiment, again, small n in terms of sample size, but tried to sleep and just operate by being a mouth breather. So basically kind of plugged up his nose and then went around and was a mouth breather and measured all his metrics, sleep quality, all these different things, how he felt during the day, energy levels, etc., etc. And it was rough. He explained just how much it drained him just by only breathing through his mouth. So then conversely, he tried to switch over and focus on purely nose breathing. Now that can get interesting, especially at night, where you may not have as much control over the air that is coming through while you are sleeping. And so one thing that he did there is he immediately felt during the day that things had improved and that he was feeling much better when he was doing his nose breathing. But to try and help at night, he literally taped his mouth closed, made sure that it ended up staying shut throughout the night, lips together, so it forced him to nose breathe throughout the night. And he saw a lot of really intriguing benefits with that. Sleep was significantly improved. He felt much better. His respiration rate, i.e. the amount of breaths he took over the course of a minute throughout the night, significantly decreased, and he just ended up feeling better. So I was like, wow, this could be something that could be interesting. And he also noticed that he didn't snore, which he also had experience with mouth breathing. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. Obviously, this is where a little danger comes in. I have seen out there, I don't know why they called it hostage tape, other than it looks like you're just getting tape put over your mouth so you can't say anything. I don't understand the naming of it, but anyway, there's that. Kind of covers your whole lips, removable, obviously. That is one option. I use just some basic kind of medical tape, micropore, just a small strip of it that I would place just below my bottom lip, kind of come over my bottom lip and just give a little pull up as I put it over my top lip right in the center, and then attached just below the base of my nose. Uh, Overall, saw benefits and improvements, especially on nights where I didn't have anything to drink, or I wasn't up super late from the result of going out somewhere or being at a concert or something that just kind of kept everything revved up late. Did notice some significant benefits, and was looking at all this without fully tracking it on my Aura Ring, looking at sleep quality, looking at HRV, and generally showing that it was better. The thing that I did run into a little bit is I found myself working around it when I slept, especially if I had any kind of nose congestion, whether that was from literally being sick with an respiratory infection, or just having some snot and stuff built up in there. And that again could be related from drinking or changing of seasons, or a multitude of other things. If it wasn't easy to breathe through my nose when I was laying down, I knew I was going to somehow work my way around it. So I would find myself retracting my jaw to kind of manipulate the tape to still be able to breathe through my mouth. I usually just fall asleep on my side and ultimately end up on my stomach. And so, depending on how my head kind of worked within the pillow, that could dramatically impact how the tape stayed in place. And so it was a solution, but wasn't fully solving the problem, and found my body working way around it. So then brought it up to my physician again. Do that. Are we talking sleep apnea? Are we talking, potentially just snoring, just not getting as much air through? I generally would wake up rested, feel good for the day, so we kind of settled on we probably didn't need to go down the sleep apnea study realm yet. So he recommended a type of mouth guard that your dentist can do for you, and I will give the hedge here. I did not do a lot of research into over-the-counter options. I went and got one custom fitted, and it was not cheap, but we thought it'd be worth a try. But in essence, what it does is thrust your jaw forward a little bit, not significantly, but some, and then basically trying to get you more opening to your windpipe or your airway. In doing so, by allowing more air in, it helps reduce the need to snore and kind of catch up on that. And so that has also proven beneficial overall. Again, on nights that probably one too many beers or a little too much bourbon, not as beneficial. My body finds a way to go through it. I have thought about combining the two, but have not done so yet. But with having those mouth guards, and this one in particular is fitted to the top teeth and the bottom teeth, and then there's a couple brackets that go that in essence just pull the jaw forward. I can feel that happening and kind of almost set my jaw, if you will, as I'm laying down getting ready to fall asleep. So that is something that you can take a look at as well. Again, tracking with Oura Ring, no official data, but generally overall, I'd say my sleep quality has gone up. Recently got the opportunity to upgrade to a Gen 3 Oura Ring, which just offers a lot more insight. One of those things looking at your O2 level and some potential obstructions to any changes in that overnight. And so far, my O2 level has remained high in the upper 90s as kind of where we'd like to see it. But also those breathing interruptions as it's measuring it are few and far between. Nothing dramatic based on their scoring system. I'm getting a good to very good in that regard, which is reassuring that it's maybe not full on sleep apnea, but maybe just again more of the snoring aspect of it. The last thing I've tried, and I don't do as good a job of this every night as I should, it just depends on how tired I am, how just everything with coming up with an excuse as to why I don't do it, but looking at utilizing breathing techniques just right before bed to almost somewhat instantaneously bring heart rate down. And that also came out of the Just Breathe book, where it's a 5 in, 5 out, all through your nose breathing, where you're feeling your stomach and your sides and just basically your whole lower belly inflate while you're doing this breathing, to then breathing it out 5 seconds, getting all that out of there, and you can feel in real time that your heart rate almost decreases. Everything just takes a little bit easier and takes some stress off. And I've tried that, and that has also seemed to be a real big benefit. So ultimately, just kind of summing this up, a couple of things to try: the breathing and a small amount of tape could be useful. Be careful on the tape you use so it doesn't irritate your skin, pull out hair, irritate your lips or anything. But that could be something to look into. Again, be careful in doing it, but it's something to consider. And then this mouth guard would be something useful as well. Didn't mention it, but in terms of quantity of sleep too, we try and do a lot, and quality, we try and do a lot of other things in the house to help with sleep hygiene. We have a very, very dark room, make it that way so very little light comes in, which helps. I turn on Do Not Disturb on my phone. It's face down, so there's very little artificial light that pops up through the evening. Keep it as cool as we can, balancing our coolness. I'm usually running hot, my wife is not, so trying to keep cool while she's under the full covers, and also our kids, doing that. But then also I'm focusing on at least 7 hours of sleep a night, as much as I possibly can. I like to get up early in the morning to get stuff done. Not a super late night person, but 7 hours is what I try and shoot for. Anything above is fantastic, and I'm really trying to avoid going below for at least less than a night or two. So again, really interesting, kind of to see how it does. Could be something worth checking out. We'll link those books and maybe a few other things up in the show notes. There's a ton of good information out there on sleep. The podcast, I believe it's Matt Miller on Tim Ferriss' show. He wrote the book Why We Sleep. I have not read it, but I've heard amazing things. It could be worth checking out if that's something that you're interested in. And yeah, this is the first rendition of the CP case study. We'll have some more as we keep trying out things and seeing how they benefit us, and we'll pass that along to you all. So with that, good luck helping improve that sleep, and if you have questions, let us know. Thanks.